What's the good word, everybody? Today is February 23rd, 2020. In this video, we're going to talk about the numerology of the death of Daredevil, Mad Mike Hughes. Now, normally I'm not too excited to do Gematria videos. I kind of do a lot of them begrudgingly, but when I saw this news story in the headlines this morning, I knew it was going to be a masterpiece as far as numerology is concerned. And understand, I do a lot of these videos not really knowing the truth about these stories, whether or not the person really died, whether or not they were killed, whether or not the death was natural. In this case, it seems pretty clear that this is an outright hoax. And really, this is one of the most ridiculous ongoing news stories we've had in as long as I can remember. Here we have this story about a random flat earther who decided that instead of, making a drone and putting a camera on it, maybe attaching it to a weather balloon and simply floating it up into the atmosphere, his brilliant idea was to strap himself into a rocket and try to get about 5,000 feet up into the air, with the ultimate goal of getting like 60 miles into the air. And instead of just laughing at this guy, the Science Channel sent a film crew to document his journey. And in fact, last year there was a documentary released called Rocket Man that detailed this guy's journey as he tries to prove the Earth is flat. Now, of course, on my channel, I commonly tell people if they want someone to tell them the Earth is flat, you're going to have to go to another channel for that. I fully believe that the flat Earth theory is a Masonic one, driven into the truth community to wedge, as a wedge for division. And let's just get into the numerology and talk about how this is done, because it's definitely golden. So this story made national headlines on February 23rd, the date written 223. Of course, he died yesterday, and we will look at that date for the rest of the video, but the first significant date here is 223, today. In the reverse alphabetic order, where the letter Z is assigned 1, Y is 2, all the way through A is 26. The phrase flat earth theory sums to 223, a number we've long associated with this theory. A lot of people believe that flat earth theory is credited to an author named Washington Irving, who falsely claimed that many people believed the earth was flat just a couple hundred years ago. And notice how in the reverse order, the same cipher, the name Washington Irving also summing to 223. You may recall the NBA player Kyrie Irving came out in support of flat earth theory. And of course, it's all being done by the numbers. Using prime numbers, the name Kyrie sums to 223. Mike Hughes died in the city of Barstow, California. In Jewish Gematria, Barstow, summing to 1223. But the number 223 is Masonic. Notice how this sums to 223 and 74, just like flat earth theory in reduction. As we go, we'll talk about how this is heavily connected to the numerology of Freemasonry as well. Last year, there was a documentary, as I mentioned, called Rocket Man that detailed Mike Hughes' journey proving the Earth is flat. This came out on August 11th of last year. And notice how August 11th is the 223rd day of the year. The full name of this documentary, and we will look at this other item from pop culture. This guy started a music video also back in 2018. The full name of this documentary sums to 508 in the alphabetic order. Back in 2018, Hughes starred in this music video from the Death Valley Girls, in which they have clips from his launch back in early 2018. And, it's funny. This video is 1 minute and 53 seconds. And 153, Jesus has the miraculous catch of 153 fish. And, of course, this video ends with this woman rubbing fish all over her body. very strange. So anyway, if you measure from the date that this music video was released, October 2nd of 2018, to the date of Mike Hughes' death, you get exactly 508 days, just like how his documentary sums to 508 in ordinal. 58, a number of Freemasonry in reduction. Hughes was planning to launch in a rocket back on August 10th of 2019. What's funny about that date is that it's the 222nd day of the year. He ended up dying on the date 2/22 instead. Hughes had a successful launch back on March 24th of 2018. Measuring from that date to the date of his death was exactly 100 weeks. Again, what's the name of this documentary? Rocket Man, which sums to 100 using the standard alphabetic order. Worth pointing out, too, the 100th prime number is 541. This is the value of both homemade rocket and flat Earth in extended Gematria. This story was heavily constructed around the kill code. Mike Hughes, who was born in 1955, was 64 years old. Actually, doesn't state his age in this article, but indeed all media outlets reporting that he was 64. The date he died, 2 plus 22 plus 20 plus 20 equals 64. And his death came in a homemade rocket. The word homemade equals 64. Homemade rocket equals 64 in reduction. 64 is also the gematria of kill using the reverse alphabetic order. But what's even more interesting is that the flat Earth capital of the United States is Zion, Illinois. Up until the 1940s, the city of Zion enshrined the flat Earth doctrine in its religious code. Well, notice how Zion also sums to 64. Notice how Zion also equals 28 and 44. These numbers also found in the gematria of kill. The date that Mad Mike died had 64, 28, and 44 numerology. Now, again, this has a lot to do with Freemasonry. Modern Freemasonry celebrates its anniversary on the date June 24th, as this was the foundation of the premier Grand Lodge of England in 1717. From June 24th to the death of Mad Mike was a span of 244 days. 244, the Hebrew gematria of the word kill. Mad Mike was from the town of Apple Valley, which equals 53. His death fell on the 53rd day of the year. Not only does Flat Earth equal 53, but Rocket Man equals 53 in that same cipher. Flat Earth and Rocket Man both equal 37 in standard reduction. And this is where it gets tied into the eclipse code. Of course, Freemasonry obsessed with solar eclipses, and all of these rituals having to do with death are going to be coded alongside these types of events. So the 37th prime number is 157. Mad Mike's death is neatly crafted around the two great American total solar eclipses in 2017 and 2024. Measuring from the date of his death to the date of the next great American eclipse is 1,507 days. In Jewish gematria, Flat Earth conspiracy equals 1057. Interesting that a space odyssey equals 157 as well. We'll look at that in a minute a little bit more. If you include the end date, we find he died 1,508 days before the next American eclipse. The word Freemasonry equals 158 in reverse. Also notice how flat earth conspiracy theorist sums to 158 in reverse reduction. There's one date that you can write 15/8. That would be the 15th of August. That's the 227th day of the year. And 227, very significant number to this code. Of course, if you divide 22 by 7, you get the first 3 digits of pi, both on a calculator and in Gematria. Ancient accepted Scottish rite of Freemasonry sums to 227. This is the Hebrew value of total eclipse, 227. The name Mad Mike Hughes gives us this 227 as well. And here he's dying by the eclipse crucifixion code, 227, which is built around Jesus' crucifixion, 227. Notice how in Jewish gematria the name Mad Mike Hughes gives us a value of 407. The name Mike Hughes equals 47 in reverse reduction. Freemasonry's compass is set to 47 degrees. The compass is used to draw the circle, 47. This is also the value of total eclipse, 47. And let's also mention that total solar eclipse equals 704, the inverse of 407. So this capital G in the middle of Freemasonry's emblem has a gematria value of 13. Flat Earth conspiracy theorist equals 130. We mentioned the 158 earlier. But the 130 is significant because if you measure from the 2017 Great American Eclipse, we find he died 130 weeks later. He was getting help from his friend Waldo Stakes. This is the other guy who helped build the rocket that he died in. Now, 13 is the 6th prime number. Hughes died 130 weeks and 6 days after the Great American Eclipse. That death was in a homemade rocket, which equals 136 using the alphabetic order. To finally wrap this riddle up, there's one more number that connects all the characters in this event. Notice how the name Hughes equals 68 in ordinal. His friend Waldo Stakes sums to 68 in reverse. They were filming a series called Homemade Astronauts, which equals 68. And the 68 really stands out because think about the movie A Space Odyssey. Here you have these guys trying to launch themselves into outer space. The original film about space exploration came out in the year 68. It's called A Space Odyssey, which equals 68. The number 68 equals 124. Mad Mike Hughes equals 124. His death in a rocket ship, which equals 124, fell exactly a span of 124 days before Freemasonry's next anniversary. Of course, this will be their 303rd anniversary coming up, a big one for them. Freemasonry founded in 1717. And look how many days old Freemasonry was when Mad Mike Hughes died. The big takeaway here is the 547 at the end. Mad Mike Hughes equals 547 in English Extended Gematria. So a wonderful tapestry of numbers, no doubt here, between the Gematria of Flat Earth theory, tying into the Rocket Man documentary from last year, tying into the city of Zion, Illinois even, directly in the date numerology. Anything but a coincidence that we're looking at, folks. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks to everybody who jumped in the live chat. And we'll talk to you next time. Peace. Love. God bless. See ya.